Hey guys, my name is Marquise Smith, a current student at St. Thomas University, currently in the master's program studying sports administration. I'm here today to talk to you guys a little bit about the Boston Marathon. The Boston Marathon held its first event April 19th, 1897, making it the world's oldest annual marathon. The Boston Marathon is an attractive event for several reasons, including the history, the location, and the excitement around the event. The race is held each year on Patriots' Day, which represents the first battle of the Revolutionary War, which is a huge staple for Boston, Massachusetts. Revolutionary War. In 1775, two towns fought the first battle of the Revolutionary War. April 1775. The battles were between Massachusetts colonists and the British. The colonists overtook, outnumbered, outgritted, lasted longer, and finally beat the British and was able to sustain their independence. Another huge staple, the ties with Boston. And a lot of this stuff was unfamiliar to me until I did my research and understood how rich Boston history is. Kind of gives me an incentive to go visit and go see what some of these events has to offer. Catherine Switzer. Women were not allowed to run in the Boston Marathon until 1972. Catherine found a way to break through. In 1976, Catherine became the first woman to officially run in the Boston Marathon. This is another huge staple in my opinion because I feel like women were treated so wrong back in that time, and she kind of oversee and made it her a thing to kind of break down that barrier and find a way to get what she wanted. She entered the race under the name KV Switzer. She finished the race in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. It's what you still talked about till this day. The Boston Marathon, to the left, there's a picture that I just strode and found, which kind of displays one of the bombs that was just mysteriously laying there on the side of the road. It took place on April 15th, 2013. 3 people were murdered, 17 other people lost limbs. This tragic incident was labeled as a terrorist attack. The next year, on the same day, the Boston Marathon attendance grew nearly double. Who would believe that? After such a tragic incident that shook up the world, double the crowd came out the following year to support the major event. The city of Boston, rich tradition, brewed up a major event, which is called One Boston, which is a kind of representation of the same event that's kind of lasted for years to come. Here's just a few pictures of the victims. I didn't want to get too graphic, try to keep it as PG as possible, but there's some graphic images out here on the web that kind of put a bad taste in your mouth. But here's are some of the basic pictures. One Boston, 4:15. It's held each year on 4/15, April 15th, to honor the victims, the survivors, and the first responders here on this day. The Boston Marathon, believe it or not, is one of the hardest races to qualify for. On average, only 2% is accepted. The number of participants on average is about 30,000 each term. Majority of the 30,000 are incomers traveling from other states, other cities, other countries, just to come participate or spectate in this event. John Hancock, the sponsor of the Boston Marathon since 1986, which is the creator of the U.S. elite team, which makes up a variety of different races, backgrounds, parties. It ranges from Olympians, national champions, celebrities, athletes, doctors, disabled, and many more. Here's a few photos. Boston Marathon, Run with Boston, the American flag. Here are my sources. And that's kind of sums it all up. But as I was doing research, I come to realize how much the world values this event as a whole. It's several movies out about it. There's a movie out about independence. There's a recent movie that just came out to talk about the bombing itself, and it's all based off a true story.